Hi there, Pam Dunn here with Your Infinite Life Training and Coaching Company. Today I'm going to talk about endings and new beginnings. So this time, especially I think the endings part can be challenging at times, exciting at other times, stress producing, heart opening. It can be so many things, both of those, the endings and the new beginnings. I'm 60 years old and I've been through a lot of endings and a lot of new beginnings. So let's talk a moment about the endings, because I've had endings like parent dying, my kids leaving for college and then leaving to go off on their own or getting married. I've had friendships end. And I have gone through so many of the feelings and the thoughts and the beliefs around that. And, you know, I remember at one point hearing that phrase that when God closes one door, he opens another. And I just wanted to punch the person that said that to me. Because at the time that I'm experiencing an ending, and you may have this too, that at the time I'm experiencing an ending, I really have a lot going on. And while you know, their intention is great to tell me that the next phase, you know, is going to be great, it doesn't always feel that way. Endings often feel abrupt and are most likely a period of transition. You know, and that transition can be to something new, of course, but it can be a transition into an ending. So while endings at the beginning or when they happen feel abrupt, if you really take the time to focus on it, you know, it's been occurring for quite some time. You know, when kids leave the house, that's been occurring for quite some time. You know, their independence grew for time, over time, like they went away to school. Or they, you know, and I mean first grade and kindergarten. It felt like they went away a long time. And then they went away and didn't call you for weeks and didn't come back to see you for a long time. So there was a lot in between that, even though when my first son went away to college, it felt abrupt. But I really had a transition. And part of that transition meant that I needed to do some type of closure to an ending. And I think that's important to some endings. You really want to find out, ask yourself, do we need to do some sort of closure around this? So if I follow through with my example on my boys going away to college, one went to the Marines, you know, when that happens, I have to redefine who I am and how I function as a mother. Because of course, being a mother doesn't end when your kids go away to school or they become adults or they go away to the Marines. But the way that you're a mother changes. And that's a transition that needs to occur from the inside out. So in order to be able to focus on it as a transition, it's important to feel everything related so that you can learn and discover and complete inside of you what needs to be completed. And I'm telling you this because every time, I have 3 sons, every time one of my kids left, it was a different type of transition for me. It was a different type of learning inside for me. It was a way to have a new beginning. But in order to do that, I had to go through all of those feelings and thoughts inside of myself. And there were a lot of them. So the other thing I want to make sure that we talk about as well are new beginnings. Because new beginnings sound great, you know, for those of us that are talking to somebody. Oh, that sounds great, you're in a new beginning. Unless you're the one that's in the new beginning. Because new beginnings can feel out of control. They can remind you where you don't feel adequate or self-assured or confident. That happens with new beginnings. So as in the conversation on self-acceptance that I spoke of, you can also take the time in a new beginning process to discover, what is it you're telling yourself? Are you telling yourself, I'm not going to be able to do this? I don't think I'm going to be able to do this? Because if you're talking to yourself that way, the new beginning is going to be stress producing. However, if you're in a new learning phase with a new beginning and you talk to yourself like you would want a coach to talk to a player, and that is saying things like, you got this, or whatever you need to learn, you're going to take the time to do that, or you're going to make mistakes, and it's okay. Your mistakes don't define who you are. Your mistakes are mistakes, and they give you an opportunity to learn. I know that all that sounds great and it seems easy, but I think it's a good reminder that when you're in the process or the transition of an ending, to ask yourself, is there a closure inside of me that needs to occur? What is ending inside of me? How do I feel about that? What do I feel about that? How do I think about that? Does my thinking need to be challenged? That's important to do when you have an ending. And then when the new beginnings occur, it's important to coach yourself in a way that is encouraging and promotes you to be inspired to keep moving forward. So I want to take the time to let you know that you can dive further into how to move through these endings and how to approach new beginnings in all of our coursework and our coaching. So find us on the web, www.yourinfinitelifeonline.com, and be sure to subscribe and like us on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn, because we do provide very regularly inspiration and thought-provoking posts. Have a great day.